This is Beside Herself, Pilot, The Move, written by Mink Elliott. No relation to me. Fade in, interior ornate bedroom morning. A woman with dark roots and over-bleached straw-like hair pushes up the sleeves of her daggy oversized fleece and sits down at her dressing table desk. She opens up her laptop. The screen says 9:17. Good morning, Sadie. What is your main focus for today? She quickly types, enjoy the... She stops, deletes the words, then types fast again, maybe even have a laugh with the cursor blinks as if hesitating, then backspaces until the whole lot is deleted. She types slowly this time, survive the move. We hear a sneery female voice.
Good luck with that.
The woman closes the laptop. The title appears on the lid. Title, Beside Herself. Exterior palatial mansion, gravel driveway, morning. The same woman heaves a suitcase onto the boot of a crappy old Kia Rio. This is a 53-year-old Sadie Beaumont, sweaty and stocky, gives off an overwhelmed under siege vibe. Her phone rings. She wrestles it out from under her bra shoulder strap, stares at the screen, groans and put it back. She can practically hear her thighs chafe through her leggings as she shuffles into the house through the massive front door framed by two enormous vibro-Doric columns. Interior palatial mansion, marble kitchen day. Sadie trots through the kitchen on a mission. A tall man, mirrored sunglasses, propped up on his bald head, leans against the kitchen island, swiping right on his phone. This is Sadie's soon-to-be ex-husband, Dan, 55, golf clothes, uneven self-tan, reeks of link and midlife crisis. Kids Lily, 14, sullen social justice warrior, and Ben, 10, indulged Xbox addict, mill about the American double fridge. Seconds later, Sadie shuffles through again, massive rucksack on her back, dragging a wheelie case behind her.
Make us a brew, will you?
Sadie stops mid-trudge, stares dead ahead.
I'm spitting feathers here.
Sadie slowly tiptoes towards the front door.
I said...
He slams his phone down on the marble bench top. Sadie flinches, winces.
Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I promised I'd never do that again. I don't know what I was thinking. Please don't hate me. Please, don't go.
Sadie's shoulders relax. She softens, turned to face Dan.
I don't hate you.
She sees him stroking his phone lovingly, close to tears.
Can you ever forgive me?
Dan kisses his phone. Sadie continues towards the front door.
So she's finished packing, huh? That's a turn up for the books. I mean, she never finishes anything, does she? All those novels, plays, marriages.
Dan polishes the phone screen with his sleeve.
Remember that musical she started? What was it called? The one about her NCT breastfeeding support group. That went totally...
It's up.
That's it. And now, after 15 years of marriage and just one tiny handful of meaningless, insignificant peccadillos.
What's a peccadillo?
A musical, like a recorder?
She runs off to some sad little dorp in the middle of nowhere.
What's a dorp?
You're a dorp.
Cut to exterior palatial mansion, gravel driveway, same time. Sadie pushes the rucksack on top of the suitcase in the boot. Her phone rings again. She takes the phone out from her bar strap, looks at the screen. It says, Iron Lady is calling. She throws the phone into her handbag, goes into the house. Interior palatial mansion foyer, seconds later. Sadie strides through the foyer towards the cloakroom. We can hear Dan and the kids talking in the kitchen. Sadie stops, listens intently to what they're saying.
She's watched too much Escape to the Country. That's what it is.
Wants to bore us to death with stories of her childhood, you mean? Even Granny hates that place. No wonder she pissed off to Paris.
Don't swear.
As if she was going to write anything. She can't even write a shopping list, let alone her
memoirs.
Dan scoffs.
What's she ever done that's worth writing at home about?
Sadie's mouth drops open in disbelief.
She had Lily and me.
Well, yeah. But by cesarean, she's so lazy she couldn't even be asked to do that properly.
Sadie gasps, puts her hand over her mouth.
And it's not like she ever closed any major deals or anything, is it? What's she ever contributed? Huh?
Sadie throws her head back, stares at the tacky, ludicrously ornate chandelier.
Not to worry. She'll soon change her mind and come running back, tail between her legs. Mark my words.
Sadie balls her hands into fists, stomps into the cloakroom. Interior palatial mansion cloakroom day. Sadie shuts the door, turns the light on, illuminating an ostentatious bathroom, all black marble and gold taps. She gets up
Careful. Sorry.
She gets up close to the mirror, stares her makeup-free face. She pulls her jowls, smooths her lined forehead. She gets a black eyeliner out of her bag, starts filling in her eyebrows, gets a bit heavy-handed. We hear that sneery female voice again. This voice belongs to Scarlett, Sadie's inner critic, her doppelganger alter ego. Only Sadie and us can see and hear her.
All right, Noel Gallagher.
Sadie rubs some eyeliner off, starts drawing lip liner way outside her natural lip line.
Take it easy, Widow Twanky.
Sadie wheels around and we see Scarlett for the first time sitting on the loo, leafing through a copy of Golf magazine. Facially, she's identical to Sadie, but her hair's highlighted and coiffed. She wears bold, expertly applied makeup and sophisticated clothes. She exudes confidence, competence, and all-round self-assuredness.
What? Just saying. So you've got thin lips. So what? Lip liner can't change that. Botox will just make you look like, what's her name? The hippie chick in the Muppets.
Sadie Tutts goes back to drawing on her lips.
And those lines around your lips will just get worse if you keep pouting like that.
Sadie inspects her top lip.
Yeah, what are we going to do about that tash?
Sadie carries on, feels her chin.
Electrolysis hurts like buggery. Ditto waxing. Plucking doesn't seem to help. What about shaving?
Sadie shakes her head no.
Well, we're going to have to do something. Got a right little goatee going on there.
Sadie takes a closer look.
We can't bleach it again. Last time you looked like Colonel Bloody Sanders.
Sadie frowns, tucks her hair behind her ears, notices the wedding and engagement rings on her finger. She tries to pull the rings off, but they're stuck. She wets her finger, rubs soap on the rings. She tugs and bites, and with one last almighty pull, they fly off. In slow motion, Sadie watches them arc through the air, bounce around the basin, and disappear down the plug hole.
You idiots! We could have pawned them.
Sadie panics, searches for the rings, but it's too late.
Ugh, mind you, Dan's tight as a gnat's chuck. There'll be only 10 anyway.
Sadie shoves her makeup into her bag, plucks her phone out, taps on her Twitter app. Next to her profile pic, obviously from 20 years ago, we see her name is @sexy-ish-Sadie 473, following 4 followers. She painstakingly presses one letter at a time. Happy Freedom Day to me, off to fab new life in the country, wish us luck. Kiss, I don't know how to say that, XOXO, hashtag delighted divorcee, hashtag single mums rock, hashtag country roads take me home, hashtag I'm not writing either.
Just to let people, you know.
She presses send, taps her foot, bites her lip, stares at the phone. Silence. She chucks the phone back into her bag.
So I should have learnt the press.
Sadie opens the door, turns to look at Scarlett.
Perhaps you should bugger off.
Scarlett slams the magazine shut, mock offended.
After all I do for you.
Sadie walks out. Scarlett follows, turns the light off, closes the door behind her, leaves us in total darkness. Interior, Sadie's car on driveway, day. All strapped in, Sadie looks over her left shoulder at Ben, sitting in the back seat. Ben looks back at her, grins. Sadie smiles, turns to Lily, who's glued to her phone in the front seat, passenger seat. Sadie's eyes slowly gaze over. Begin flashback. Exterior, chocolate box, village, day. It's 1975, so it's all beige and grainy. 8-year-old Sadie sits on a park bench, flanked by her mum, Micheal, late 20s, long hair, patent leather knee-high boots. On one side, her father, Keith, early 30s, a beardy vision in corduroy and suede desert boots on the other. The adults are smoking. Sadie's licking a strawberry mivvy. Behind a threesome is a sign, "Welcome to Little Pennystone." Sadie looks up at her mum, all wide-eyed and innocent.
I never want to leave here, Mummy. It's the happiest place on earth.
Keith suddenly pays attention.
That's not bad, Sadie. Happiest place on earth. Might be able to use that line somewhere.
Micheal blows smoke into the ether contemptuously. She looks around at the quaint village, her mouth turned down.
It's not exactly the Champs-Elysees, but it'll do for now.
She looks down and smiles at Sadie, who's beaming. Micheal and Keith both take drags on their fags in sync while Sadie licks her mivvy. End flashback. Interior, Sadie's car on the driveway, continuous. Sadie's leaning into Lily, eyes closed, about to lick her daughter's face.
Get off!
Lily pushes Sadie away. She coughs a little. Good recovery. She starts up the car, lets it idle as she fiddles with the sat-nav. She punches in RG9 Little Pennystone.
Ah, did it.
Sadie turns to her kids again. They ignore her. Ben looks out the side window and waves. Lily puts her earphones in.
Right. Let's be off then. Off-ski Magofsky.
Scarlett, sitting next to an oblivious Ben in the back, turns to look in the out the rear window and gives the house 2 fingers. Exterior, gravel driveway, same time. Dan stands by the front door, hands in pocket, watching the car bunny hop down the driveway. He smirks and shakes his head. Exterior, tree-lined street day. The car drives past mansions and manicured lawns. Interior, Sadie's car, day. It's quiet, too quiet.
Shall I put the radio on?
She pushes the knob and something like Follow You, Follow Me by Genesis plays.
Oh, God, I love this song.
Sadie turns it up. Lily punches the button off.
How about we sing then?
Dead air.
I like the flowers. I like the daffodils. No!
No!
Sadie stops singing.
Don't sing. It makes my ears sad.
Lily scoffs.
All right. Jeez.
She fixes her eyes on the road in front. Exterior, mansion line, street day. Sadie's car pootles along, approaches a sign that says Alderley Edge. Interior, Sadie's car. A second later, Sadie spots the sign, smiles, and then to the tune of Lady Gaga's Edge of Glory.
Alderley Edge
The kids jump out of their seats a bit.
of glory. And I'm standing on a moment of truth.
Lily
I
shakes
thought it
her
was-
head. Unbelievable.
I thought it was standing. Is it hanging? That was, well, hanging.
Ben giggles. Scarlett looks at him, nods in agreement. Exterior, motorway day. The Kia Rio pootles along in the slow lane. Overtaking drivers yell at her, shake their fists. Interior, Sadie's car day. Sadie's phone beeps.
Aha, tell me who that is, would you? Lily? Lily, it's in my bag. Keep your knickers on.
Lily rummages around in Sadie's bag, pulls out the phone.
Who is it? What did they say? It's a tweet, isn't it? It's Granny.
Sadie groans.
She says, Happy Freedom Day, darling. Drive prudemment and appelle-moi when you get home.
Any more prudent and we'll be sodding while standing still.
Is that it?
Lily scrolls through.
There's a notification. Twitter. Intermittent fasting for the over 50s dropped a new episode.
Who needs friends when you got podcasts, eh?
Sadie's irritated, waves the backseat voice away.
There's a few WhatsApp messages. Really, who from? The Iron Lady?
Sadie groans again.
Go on then.
And that's page 10, although it's labelled as 11, but that's because the first page was the cover. So, thoughts on that? John?
Very funny in places. Still not really sure what's going on. I know Sadie's leaving. It sounds like it should be a title for a song. Not really sure what the hell's going on. Because we basically had 10 pages of Sophie packing her stuff and putting it in the car. Unless I'm missing something here.
Oh,
But
okay.
I will definitely read the rest of it.
Thank you. Okay. Emma.
Yeah, I think you know, I think that there is fun to be had there. I mean, I quite like the idea of her with her you know, other self. And in a way, I suppose to make it easier for makers, it might be quite nice if it, I don't know whether it was her inner self who, or her inner critic or whatever, that didn't have to look like her exactly, because then you could get work for two women actors who are older, which is always a good thing. Just a thought. Otherwise, it's the same person and lots of doubling up and, you know, lots of technicals. Just a thought. And they can play off each other, which is always entertaining if you're an actor, rather than just being on your own and with your own recorded self. But obviously that's just a choice. Place and time, I mean, I'm guessing it's sort of the present, mind you, because I was also like this character, as were you, 8 in 1975, and we know about the grainy beigeness of it all. We know that when she was 53, that would have been 3 years ago, so I don't know whether it's like 3 years ago or quite what we're doing with time.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, we gathered that it's this country, but just you know, obviously useful, as we always say, to put that early on. The voice, which sorry, I was a bit dim. I said I thought it was Scarlett. I think it's clearly Scarlett, isn't it? Because it says the same voice. You know, just probably good to say Scarlett, and you know, maybe some little explanatory note if you want to, but just otherwise we might think it's a separate character. There are sometimes quite broad strokes being used to delineate the characters, which is what makes it perhaps feel a bit like it could be slightly, you know, sitcomish. And I just wonder whether, you know, what kind of style you're looking at writing it in, because you could, you know, you could do them slightly more subtly, or you could bring out the, you know, the cartoonishness. I mean, Ben isn't really a cartoon. I guess Sadie isn't, but it feels like Dan and Lily kind of are at the moment. And obviously, you know, Scarlett is a kind of, you know, sort of one's own critic who is quite a cartoon. Yeah, like him kissing his phone and things like that. Good energy. You know, there's movement of both kinds. You know, it feels to me like the story is moving forward, and there's lots of bustling about and establishing stuff. But yeah, you probably could cut to the chase a little bit more quickly. The alter ego is a fun idea. Just my dad is also called Keith, so there's just something really strange about that. I mean, I think that I feel like this is a person used to writing, but I don't, you know, I don't know about the form, whether it's a form you're familiar with. But I would like to know what happens later, and just, you know, what kind of style that you're thinking of continuing in, really. But yeah, I was interested.
Okay.
I thought there was a level of detail at times that reminded me much more of book writing than of screenplay. And I thought they're nice touches, but it's not going to get across to the viewer in the same way it will get across to a reader.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think cut to the chase, crack on with it, give us an idea of where we're going. Because yeah, is it an episode? Is it going to be I just wonder what market it's being aimed at, really, and who, because I feel it's quite slow at the moment, and we need something to catch us a bit earlier on. I love the idea of the internal dialogue, character appearing, but yeah, we need what's that about this? It's got to be for a reason. It's got to be a payoff for that later on, rather than it just being a device of having internal conversations with oneself. So yeah, I think it's got loads of great promise, and there's some really great stuff in it, and absolutely yes, anything that's sort of got our main protagonist is an older mature woman, yes, thumbs up from me, being an older mature man. But yeah, I think yes, get to the chase, and yeah, watch those bits of book writing, because they're lovely, but they'll be wasted on a visual medium like this.
Yeah, thank you for that. Catherine.
Yeah, I quite liked it. Again, I agree with Emma, the voice and Scarlett, you need to decide which is which. If it is a separate voice, then voice is fine, but if it is Scarlett, you need to name it Scarlett. The It's a little bit confusing. I think the beginning, because we don't know how what genre you're going for, how you see it being shot. All down to the DOP really. It might work. It depends on what kind of style you're going for. But initially, I thought it was a little plodding and a little disjointed. But it didn't seem to have anything running through until maybe about the fourth page, and I think it went along quite happily. The husband and his phone bit confused me. When he was talking to, I thought he was talking to his wife, and then he wasn't. He was talking to his phone. Was he on a dating site with all the swiping? Perhaps, I'm not sure. The Twitter name, I'm not sure if you can have brackets in Twitter names. I don't think you're allowed those. So I liked the. Oh, what's a Mivvy?
Oh, it's sort of
a
ice
little
lolly thing.
Yeah.
Ice cream.
It was an ice lolly made out of milk.
Yeah.
Was it the green and white
like
one?
milk bottles?
I don't know. I
No,
never had
no,
one.
no,
I always hear
it
about it, but I
was-
don't think I ever ate one.
I remember them. They're about yay big,
That
about
might-
Oh,
4
yes.
that
inches,
might denote this is
Yeah.
when this is set, maybe a little.
and they were
in my
white
time.
or pink.
Okay. Well, I've never heard of a movie, but
You don't know what you're
yeah, a
missing,
little bit, never
Catherine.
heard of them. I like the idea of the whole family disrespecting the downtrodden mum, and that's maybe made her come so into herself that she's created this secondary, like invisible friend type person. I quite like that idea. And I think that could work quite well. I quite find it fun to multi-role, so I'd quite like playing both with the same parts of the same character. But yeah, I like the idea that Scarlett's present and can interact from her POV with everyone else, but nobody else knows that she is there. I like that kind of dynamic. The only person that's here is invisible best friend person. So I think it's got legs. I think maybe look at the beginning, tighten up the beginning a bit. It felt a bit confusing and plodding to start off with, which you don't want at the beginning because people will switch off if they don't get drawn in straight away. So other than that, I thought it was quite good. So interesting. I would like to know what happens.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, pretty much echoed everything everybody else has said. I think there's probably way too much information, really. Like everyone has said, it sort of reads more like a novel than a script. You have to think of in terms of information, and rather than a description. And it's a completely different sort of ball game. And I also was concerned about the level of interjection between the dialogue. So there's a little tiny bit of dialogue and somebody does something, somebody reacts, and there's more dialogue and somebody else reacts, and there's more dialogue, somebody else reacts. You kind of have to leave all that to the actors. I mean, the actors are going to be the ones that make or break it. And if they're going to have, if it's very prescribed, then it's not going to work for them. So a lot of it, I think, I mean, at the moment, I've just got page 2 up, and I've got Dan, make us a brew, will you? Sadie stops mid-trudge, stares ahead. I mean, you could do that with a beat, make us a brew with you, beat, and just imply it rather than spell it all out. And that way, things like when you get he slams the phone down, I mean, you literally just need he slams the phone down, and then, oh God, I'm so sorry, because the actors they're automatically going to react to that. So it's just that really. The other thing that kind of I thought I like the idea of it. I like the dual characters. I understand where Emma's coming from. It would be nice if they were 2 completely different people, and that your alter ego is really, when you do that devil on your shoulder thing, the devil on the shoulder is always the bad guy, the one that gets in all the trouble, the one that's egging you on to do, and really her alter ego should be, a fashion mess, really, or something. I'm not entirely sure she should be the person she wants to be. I don't know, but if she's going to be the same person but just tidier, kind of just I don't know. Depends whether you're playing it for laughs or not. As again, we don't really know whether this is a sitcom or whether it's a drama with a little bit of light humor. And we do need to know where it is right up top, and we need to know whether it's present day or set slightly in the past. I'm assuming if it's present day. Made me look at the ages of the kids and how old she would have been when she had them. And if we're saying she's 53, then she had Lily when she was 39 and Ben when she was 43. Not beyond the bounds of possibilities, because women are having babies older and older all the time. But then when you marry it with a lot of the old references and the business with the Mivvy, and I'm thinking she's quite an elderly 53. Feels like she's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure.
I'm sure if it was almost, it crossed my mind, it might be like a loop that they do all the time, like she's always leaving home, and that's why they're ignoring her, perhaps.
It could be. It could be.
It wasn't always, like a
It could well be. I am worried that you did send the whole thing. It's a half-hour show, and we've spent 15 minutes, give or take a couple of pages at the beginning, in the car. And I'm just wondering, could that all have been sped up a little bit? Would there have been more mileage out of them arriving at a location and then having those conversations when they're there? Or even stop it? You know what kids are like. Are we there yet? You know, and you stop to get a cup of tea or a sandwich or something. I mean, even just getting them out of the car and walking across a petrol forecourt or some, you know, gas station forecourt and going in for a cup of tea or a coffee or something. And, you know, this conversation, then one of them won't get back in the car. And then you know what teenage girls are like, I bloody hate you. And then they won't, you know, there's all those conversations to be had, isn't there? And yeah, she as a woman, she seems quite fixed in the past. I don't know whether that's part of her character, and we'll find out why that is later. But I think you could bring her a little bit more up to date, maybe. But you know, I don't know. Depends what you want to do with her.
next step, really, wasn't it? It was a bit confusing as to what decade it was in, but
so and Dan, I don't know. It's quite interesting that we often get this, don't we? That we pick, that we don't select the scripts that we're going to read. They just come on a first come, first serve basis. So where you fall on the list. But we've read another script tonight, which has got echoes of the same kind of women in them.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
And the same kinds of men as well.
And the same kind of men, and that's really interesting. Anyway, other than that, yeah, definitely worth reading on to find out where it is going at the end and what happens with it. So thank you for that.